I was injured in 2009. I was part of the IED team, part of the team that were doing a clearance patrol for a convoy, and my vehicle hit an IED, broke the most of my lower body, from my pelvis down. Remembrance Day 2010, I had my leg off, and then that started all this doing stuff and being part of race to recovery. And I didn't really give it much thought about the Dakar and what it entailed and what the race would entail and all the little bits and bobs. I was more drawn to it by the fact of everyone's serving or ex-serving, everyone's injured, everyone's been and done the same as what I've done. And I could be part of the team, maybe a bit. And then when we eventually got to South America, then the whole actual Dakar race started to kick in. It was like, oh, it's gonna be brilliant. And then it carried on, that whole thought of tour. Because you tour, you've got your mates, and then you've got something to do. You've got a common purpose, and that's what this was. Last year I was a support driver, so I drove a disco around South America, really driving the mechanics around. Because obviously they work all night, and then I would drive all day to get them to the next bivvy site, so that everyone wasn't just too knackered. This year I'm going to be the T4 middleman. So I'd be responsible for the tyre pressures and just general, another set of eyes watching whilst the guy's driving. And then when we get to where, if we need to do a repair, an extra set of hands or a runner to recover or fix the vehicle. Because we're part of the support team, we did quite a lot of the stuff in the background. So whereas all the race drivers and stuff, they get all the major coverage. You're in the background. We spent most of the time not knowing what was happening in the race because we had our own little bits, our own problems in it. So literally wasn't until the last day, the last stage, which was a really short little sprint stage, that it all started coming to home that we're actually gonna finish this. And then everyone started you felt like almost an electric atmosphere. And then that day in Santiago, when we got up to the podium, almost everybody, all the main competitors, like the winners and all that sort of stuff, had all been about an hour or so before, and we were like one of the very last vehicles over the thing. So people were just almost clearing up, but it was still absolutely amazing. Even those few people, they'd heard about us, and then it's then when you start to realise, wow, we've done something really amazing. Last year was the first real big challenge post having a leg off. And so at first, you was always that doubt in your mind. You're like, can I actually do this? Am I gonna mess the team up? Because am I gonna get an ingrown hair or an infection in my stump, or is it gonna swell, or just those little things that having a prosthetic can end up lead you on crutches. And I know last year that none of those really played a part. I still managed to do it. So this year I can go into it more. I know that I can do it, so that I don't need to think about that. That doubt doesn't need to cross your mind. I'm getting out of the army in January, and having not been work and being medically discharged means you don't go to work, so you end up sort of losing all those mates you had. And then at Headley Court, you go there, you make some really good mates, but then you can't go there after. Whereas here is that sort of team, that comradeship, that little bond. The team meant just that, being part of the team. Because I'm not in work at the minute, I'm just waiting to get discharged, so you're sort of on your own thing, whereas being part of the team, you've got that purpose, you've got that common thing to do, you belong to something. You inspire yourself in a way, you show that you can achieve this, you can do such an extreme thing like the Dakar, so you come back and then little basic things. I did that, so I can therefore easily be in Civvy Street. Because at one stage, that Civvy Street was the biggest, scariest thing, having been in this nice little comfy bubble of the military and Headley Court and all that sort of stuff. Civvy Street was considered scary. You've got to like work out how to do your mortgage and all that sort of bills and stuff that you'd never ever have to worry about before. Hopefully it's going to open the doors to be able to do more stuff, more adventurous activities all over the world. You come down to the farm, you do all this sort of bits and bobs, then you go home and you go and do the race, and you come back and you sort of forget that you're still in the media's eye, and that like other people are really interested and follow you. So you have people coming up to you and saying, "Oh, that was wicked," and you can like, "Oh, what? Oh, yeah, I remember," because you wouldn't expect them to know. And there's been quite a few guys met in Tedworth House that have seen it, heard about it, followed it, or a combination of it, and then they ask, "Oh, how'd you get involved in that? How'd you go about things like that?" Because yes, there's the capability within the military to do it. We have things like battle back, so you can get out and do adventure training. And so when you get out, is where Tedworth's House like remit lies for ex-servicemen. It's a little bit different for them to get involved in some of this stuff because there's not as many opportunities outside of the military. And that's like random questions, like how did you find that leg worked in the desert? How did you deal with the heat on your stump, and stuff that questions you wouldn't get from somebody else wouldn't normally ask. Yeah, I think it does help. It inspires people to do it. And you can see that everyone on the team, despite all their disabilities, none of them disabilities actually mattered, compromised what we all set out to do.